Hey everybody, Dr. Phil here. This is a video on social media in the context of MIS, Management Information Systems. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So let's start with what we call SMEs. Although in academia that means something else, subject matter experts. In this context, we're talking about social media information systems. So SMEs are composed of different components that create the overall social media presence for an organization. So the main components of SMEs are hardware. So think about, the computer, the laptop, the phone, whatever it may be. The data and procedures to sort of manipulate, store the data, mine the data when's needed, and then also the people that analyze this. So social media information system (SMEs) is composed of the data and procedures that are used to run and maintain the system. So what about the functions of the data and procedures? So social media providers deliver content data and responses contributed by site users. So think about all the people that are uploading videos to, TikTok, Instagram, etc. Connection data created from connections and relationships to site content from other sources. And then user communities. User communities produce data related to user behavior and content interactions. Each click or interaction by a user creates a data point that can be analyzed. Social media sites and the analytics they provide are useful tools in collecting market research data. Marketing research follows typically a five-step process. Number one, define the problem or opportunity. Number two, develop a plan for data collection and analysis. Number three, collect the data and information. Number four, analyze the data and information. And then number five, putting the research into meaningful action. Now, social media platforms provide the means to collect a huge array of data and information from a whole plethora, a whole variety of sources, including, of course, customers and stakeholders. So, what about consumer behavior? So, consumer behavior is generally regarded as the study of how and why people buy and use goods or services. Research into consumer behavior ties together many different areas of consumers' lives and analyzes how they respond to marketing communications. The products and services signify personality and social status. What decision-making criteria are used? And finally, what preferences are exhibited? Now, this term you've probably heard of, in a marketing class, what we call the target market. So the target market, as the name kind of suggests, is the audience, the group of people, that is defined by specific demographics and behaviors and is most likely to be interested in the product or service being offered by an organization. In order to define a target market, most businesses use demographic information. So again, you can see from the list below. I won't go through all these, but things like income, how much money do they have to spend, what's their profession, marital status, gender, age, so on and so forth. Now, with regards to target market, how is the data collected? So this demographic information can be collected at the point of sale, which we typically abbreviate POS. We could do it through surveys and also on social media platforms. So how do customers connect to a product or service? For customers to feel connected to a product or service, they need to be able to relate to the tone and content of the message being provided. Target marketing helps to create messages that resonate with consumers because it's that resonation that's going to help, those people decide they want to buy the product or the service. Now, when designing a social media information system, there are 6 steps that should be followed to ensure the system is meaningful to the customer and also to the firm's business decisions. So step number one is, of course, develop the goals. Step number two is set and track success metrics. Step number three is identify the target market. Step number four is determine what customers value. Step number five is make meaningful connections. And then finally, step number six is analyze the data. Now, the establishment of goals is the first step in designing a social media information system. A solid understanding of organizational and social media goals is crucial in creating an effective social media strategy and information system. Social media goals must be in alignment with the overall goals of the organization and include as follows: an increase in brand awareness, to the extent to which a brand is recognizable and visible in the marketplace. Increase in conversion rates. So conversion rates refer to the frequency that a desired action is taken. And most times in this case, it's going to be, making a sale. Increase in traffic. Increase of website and e-commerce traffic. And then user engagement. So user engagement is the extent to which users interact with a website, social media site, or other posted media. Once social media information system goal is established, it's necessary to create and implement metrics to monitor the performance and success of the social media goals. Otherwise, how do we know how we're doing if we don't have measurable metrics by which to go by? So success metrics include KPIs, key performance indicators. That could be sales statistics, engagement rates, conversion rates. And then common social media information system metrics could be audience growth rates for social media platforms, total followers on social media platforms, visitor frequency rates, conversion rates for site visits. Again, think about conversion rates as they're actually buying something. And then user engagement on social media platforms. Now, the target market is the audience or group of people that is defined by specific demographics and behaviors and is most likely to be interested in the product service being offered by an organization. Now, in order to define a target market, most businesses use demographic information, again, including things like level of education, income, marital status, age, gender, so on and so forth. Now, with respect to defining value, it's important for organizations to determine what customers value about their product or service and integrate it into their social media information system design. The way in which customers value a product or service is often divided into two segments. The first is what we call fundamental value. Now, when using fundamental value, customers focus exclusively on the product or service. The total value is a little different. When we use total value, customers focus on the product or service, but also include other value-added areas. So, for example, social awareness and philanthropy, manufacturing processes, warranties and service, and social brand attributes. Now, what about making connections? Because again, making connections with customers is a really good way, a really effective way to make sales. So once the customer values are determined and a value proposition is established, it's necessary to make connections. Now, connections are facilitated through a variety of social media platforms. Connections to customers and stakeholders are made by creating and posting engaging content. Well, now, once you've made those connections, how do you maintain those connections? So once connections are established, it's important to maintain those connections by regularly posting content and driving traffic through the use of paid advertisements and incentives that encourage engagement with social media platforms. And then the last step in the design of a social media information system is the gathering and analysis of data. So the analyzing process is kind of done as follows. Most social media platforms provide analytics tools to help businesses analyze their social media activities. Businesses can also hire consultants to assist with analysis of data and to better craft social media strategies. Now, once the data are analyzed, adjustments to the overall social media information system strategy and plan can be made. So don't think of that as it's we make a strategy, an initial strategy, and that's it. Because over time that'll change. What people want out of social media will also change. So companies have to be receptive to that. They have to be cognizant of that fact, and they have to understand that it's always kind of a moving target, if you will. All right, thanks for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in a future video.